All right, everybody. Thanks so much for stopping by another live episode of Real Estate Titans, sponsored by Lionbolt Media. I'm your host, Greg Fowler, traveling throughout the marketplace, interviewing the top real estate professionals in our field, essentially gathering insight, inspiration. It really drives and motivates these top producers above and beyond everybody else in what I'd like to consider a real estate titan. Now, our very special guest and featured titan for episode 280, all the way from beautiful Miami Beach, Florida, none other than Ivan Chorney. Ivan, it's an honor and a pleasure, my friend. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Greg, thank you so much for having me. Truly honored, flattered, and once again, your energy is unmatched. It's just getting me excited hearing you with that intro. So, thanks for bringing the energy today.
Hey, you know what? I'm super excited about this, Ivan. And again, just to any time that we as the Titan Nation have an opportunity to speak with true professionals such as yourself and really understand growth and scale and life and a path, I can't help but being excited. So I know the audiences as well, really just to learn from one of the best and the brightest. So without further ado, Ivan, I would love to start with the first question, which is really kind of the origin story.
Sure.
What got you into the business, where you come from, what was the progression in your career up until today? What does that look like if you're painting the picture, Ivan?
Sure. So, come from Connecticut, as we were mentioning off channel here.
Yeah.
And I actually studied exercise physiology in college. So, I don't do anything with it now, obviously, but that was a great foundation for, we'll say, relationship sales, relationship building. Went out to LA and actually tried my hand in the acting world. So I was out in LA for 4.5 years, 50 some odd commercials on a soap, a couple other things.
Wait. I got to stop you there, Ivan. No, this is super interesting. So literally going from Connecticut and you and I, like you said, off camera, spoke about the East Coast and everything with the history, but going from the East Coast to the West Coast to try your hand at that world and acting, what was it? What were your thoughts going through your head when you were making that change, that move? What was the goal?
I'm really into like Tony Robbins. I'm into a lot of like personal development stuff. And he always talks about the need for certainty and uncertainty. And some people need more certainty and other people need more uncertainty. At that time in my life, I thrived on uncertainty. I like to try my hand in anything. Graduating college, I was 215 pounds, like pretty stocky. I played college lacrosse. And somehow I had it in my head that, because I was really into fitness, I was like, I should be out there on the cover of fitness magazines. This is just what I got in my head.
I love it.
And so I just figured I was going to make that come true, and I had to get out to LA to make it come true. And
wow.
I mean, countless no agencies, and I just wasn't going to take no for an answer. Friends, family probably thought I was effing nuts. Like, what is this guy doing? But I was fully committed to the fact that I was going to get on a cover. I was going to be in a fitness magazine, and within about 4 months of arriving there, I was in my first spread for, I think it was called Exercise and Health Magazine. There were so many of them back then.
Yeah.
But did find great success there. Ultimately, it wasn't my long-term passion.
Okay.
And also, out there on the West Coast, it did feel a little too far removed from my family in the Northeast. So I realized after 4.5 years, I was going to come back to the East Coast. I wasn't exactly sure where I was going to land. And then I heard something about this amazing Miami place. Never been. Actually, I landed in Miami Airport once to go on spring break in Key West, but never did anything in Miami. So recruited one of my buddies, said, let's go for a weekend. Did a long weekend. We stayed at the Clevelander, this like iconic hotel on Ocean Drive. And you're just kind of exploring, stumbling around. And I don't know what it was about this. Actually, I do know what it was. The city, to me, it was almost like, I feel like what the gold miners must have thought when they said, "Oh my God, the opportunity!" and it was the gold rush. For me, it was like I just came here and I saw opportunity everywhere. Wow. I found the place was exciting. It was tropical. There was water everywhere, like turquoise blue water. There were amazing buildings, absolutely gorgeous people. I'm not going to leave that out. I mean,
You can't. That would be wrong, Ivan. That'd be
I was
wrong.
like, oh my God, what is going on here? Is this America?
So
Most
good.
beautiful people in the world, and they weren't afraid to flaunt it. So that also caught my attention.
For sure.
So that was it. I drove across country and moved to Miami without knowing a single soul.
Wow.
And amongst all the various opportunities I saw, I was like, this real estate thing, there's something about it. I have a friend who's in Tampa, and he's investing in real estate. And he called me and asked me if I wanted to go in on an investment with him. Went in on an investment. That investment was worth $155,000. And then the housing collapse happened and it was worth 42. Oh. So that was my first experience in real estate investing. And I'm so grateful for it, because I really got the hard lesson right at the beginning. Mm-hmm. And it only got better from there. But I was bartending. One of the many things I was doing was moonlighting as a bartender. Sure. And I got asked to do a launch party for a building called Canyon Ranch. And it was a 3-building complex, super high-end wellness retreat, wellness resort. Okay. And I was looking at the brokerage and all these cool guys that were, throwing this party. One of the guys who was the broker, I would say my earliest mentor, Jeff Moore. Wow. He had the blonde highlights in his hair, and I'm like, this is the coolest guy ever. I love this guy. Awesome. And so I just was like, Jeff, I want to get my license. I want to come work for you. And he was like, yeah, sure. Probably heard it all the time. Mm-hmm. But I followed through. I went and got my license, called them, harassed them. I was like, I gotta hang my license with you. He was like, okay, hang your license with me. It doesn't cost them anything, right? Wow. And then I said, I want to do the Canyon Ranch thing. I want to be on a project. How do I get on a project? Mm-hmm. And he was like, well, how big is your database? And I'm like, what's a database? Yeah, sure. What's that? And so I didn't know, but I quickly figured it out. And I just showed up at the office every day. Every time I saw him, I asked him if there was a project for me. Wow. After about 6 months, I think he got sick of, me bothering him about it, and gave me like the worst project opportunity that was around at the time. But I took it, and I became the top selling agent amongst a bunch of veterans who had sold lots of stuff. And that was really like the beginning for me. Wow. After that, I was asked to be on another project as the market was kind of caving in. But it was another amazing learning experience and opportunity. And once that project actually didn't happen because of the housing collapse, sure. This guy, Jeff Moore, came back to me and he said, look, I got 4 projects. Developers got all this inventory back that they thought they had sold, and I have nobody to sell it. Nobody wanted a project position at that time. Wow. He's like, will you be the sales director? And I said, sure, let me try it out. So it gave me 4 projects, and I was the sales director of 4 projects with a bunch of inventory that nobody wanted, wasn't moving. We had a unit as low as $169 a foot. Wow. Brand new luxury with a partial water view. And that was how let's say I got my teeth wet. That's how I started.
My gosh, Ivan. But that whole story and journey, again, just going from Connecticut to Los Angeles, pursuing a passion and a dream, and really looking at it, seizing those moments, but then identifying, hey, I've done that. It's time for the next adventure. Coming back to the East Coast and Florida and Miami at that. Incredible. But what I love about this story is there's not a linear direction into real estate. No. Very few people, when they're young, say, someday when I grow up, this is what it's always just finding your way through opportunity. Definitely. Obviously putting yourself in the right place, having the knowledge and the wherewithal to take the opportunity and seize the moment and continue to go on. But this is a proof of concept into the world of, look, you weren't from Miami, and starting from scratch into a business and then really building to what you do today, which is incredible, mind you, is again, just letting everybody know that there's always a way, there's always a path if you put the time and effort into it. I love it. It's super inspiring to that note. So at the beginning of the career, those opportunities came about. You saw and seized even that mentor opportunity, as you mentioned, which I think is crucially important. No one does it alone. But where does your path continue to go, Ivan? Because you've done so much and continue to do. So I know there's still plenty more of your journey to tell. So what are the next steps? I guess walk us through that to where you are today.
Yeah, I mean, just quickly, I want to touch on something that you mentioned,
Oh,
and
please.
that there isn't any like one path to success in real estate. There's really so many paths. So like, I think people when they're starting off in the field, it's so important to realize that there's many different paths to success in real estate. So, think about like your natural talents, think about the connections you already have, and then just put your full laser focused effort into going in that direction. And things really changed for me when I got off the fence, and I just went like 110% into real estate, rather than like I was doing real estate and then I was doing a little this, doing a little that. So just burn the boats. That's what I would say to people that were looking to get into real estate. Burn the boats, and you will have no other choice but to find success, or you're gonna effing drown. So,
but that's sound advice. I mean, to burn the boats, as they say, and it's very difficult for anybody to have peak success by halfway or partially investing. I mean, that's true advice and sound advice. And it seems daunting. Anybody who is newer into the business and not a seasoned pro, they're going to say, whoa, wait a minute. I've got this and this and this. I found through so many entrepreneurs and so many incredible, individuals such as yourself, Ivan, that there's never the perfect time. There's never the right time. Ultimately, you just got to do it. As you mentioned, what was going through your mind? I would love to take you back there. When you made that decision, you said, okay, enough is enough. I need to go all in and focus on this. What were you thinking? What was going through your process? I mean, if you take it back there.
Well, as I mentioned, I'm really into personal development. So I had done a seminar, and what came up for me, what showed up for me was that I didn't like commitment.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And it showed up in every single part of my life. Relationships, where I was living, what I did for work.
Wow.
I was a commitment phobe through and through.
Sure.
And my takeaway was just commit. Like stop thinking about like extrapolating all the way out to like this and that, and what if this isn't right, and that's just jump in there and figure it out. Like, instead of like burning so much mental energy and vacillating over whether it is or isn't, get in there and fucking try. and then you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out much quicker than vacillating over it for a year. So
love it.
It was just commit, and that was it. Where I was in my life at that point, I was like, that's it. I am all in on everything. So it was like no more like modeling on the side. It was no more bartending. It was no more teaching fitness classes.
Wow.
It was 110% real estate. And that to me was a monumental shift.
Wow.
And I really see the trajectory going up in my career so quickly from that point on.
Unreal. And again, sound advice, taking us through your journey, Ivan. I appreciate that too. It just gives perspective for anybody. And again, anybody who's tuning into this, there's a lot of seasoned pros that also tune into others, such as yourself, to learn and grow and scale. It's going to put them back into their perspective. When did they go all in? What were they thinking about, to project out to others that are in the community of real estate? So what was it like kind of growing through your journey? Obviously, Ivan and Mike team, so that came to fruition. And correct me if I'm wrong, but 2020, there was a shift to Compass. Is that correct?
Yep.
So I would love to know what your lineage was, why Compass, how you and Mike got together, what that looks like. I mean, kind of going through that. That's just a great part of the story too.
So after the 4 project sales director position, I was inevitably burnt out.
Wow.
And took a 2-month hiatus to go to Cape Town, South Africa. And again, uncertainty. So I just, injected a lot of uncertainty into my life real quick. Had an amazing experience. came back and I was like, okay, what's next? And another person who gave me a great opportunity, Harvey Daniels, was vice president of development sales at Sotheby's. And he said, Ivan, I've got this project in Bay Harbor. Do you want to be on the team? It wasn't a sales director role. It was just on the team. And I said, sure, let me jump in there. And then once again, I, started grinding, outsold everybody, including the sales director, who I love. And I love my co-salesperson too, but I outsold them both. And by showing them what I could do, showing Sotheby's what I could do, I was offered a subsequent role at the W South Beach.
Oh, wow.
And that was, the developer was going to start selling a 30 unit block of units that he still owned. He owned half the units in the building. So I took that opportunity. That was another big game changer for me. We can get into that. But Mike was somebody that I'd been introduced to right when I moved to Miami. And we had been friends, but it was like one of those friendships where you're like, you see each other, you hang out for like a month, and then you don't talk to each other for like half a year.
Yep.
And so like our relationship ebbed and flowed. He was doing medical sales. Then he had a short sale brokerage. So he was doing fix and flips. Like he's super strong on the investment side. Like he's a savant when it comes to real estate investing. He's written books, all this stuff. So really complements me well. We both complement each other well. But anyway, Mike had been really grinding it out with short sales. Saw what I was doing at the W, saw I was really breaking into luxury, and came over to me and he was like, Ivan, can I work for you? And I was like, I don't need you. Like you don't need you. And he said, well, who's working the weekends here? And I said, nobody. He said, who's working the night shift after you leave? I said, nobody. And who's working the morning before you get there? I said, nobody. He's like, I'll do those hours.
Wow.
I said, okay, look, nothing to lose. And he said, I'll do it for whatever you'll give me. Whatever you'll give me, I'll do it. So I said, well, I'll give you 25% of anything you kill. Okay. So you get nothing of anything I do.
Yep.
So within 2 weeks, he had like a $2 million deal.
Unreal.
So I was like, what's this guy doing? what does he have? Like, this is interesting. So, I started to kind of like watch him and pay attention to him more. And I learned that nobody had more rigorous and tenacious follow-up than him.
Wow.
I really learned my follow-up routine from Mike. Mike is somebody that believes that no is just no for now. No doesn't mean no tomorrow. No doesn't mean no month or 6 months from now. I got that from Mike. And we've instilled that on everyone on our team. So I also learned that Mike was somebody of tremendous integrity. He was somebody I could trust. We were both recently married, looking to start families. So we were very much aligned in our personal lives. We were both into personal development, like Tony Robbins. So it was like we had all this synchronicity. And then, we started to do a lot more general real estate deals. We were really building a resale machine out of the W, and that just really became its own animal.
Yeah.
Then the pandemic happened.
Oof, yeah.
And like a lot of people, we were just kind of like, right. Holy shit, is real estate dead forever? Or not forever, but it's a complete standstill. What's going to happen? Sure. And we said, look, Compass had been kind of courting us. Several companies had been courting us. We weren't exactly, fulfilled where we were. Love Sotheby's. They were great.
Yeah.
Nothing bad to say about them. It just wasn't where we needed to go at the time. And we said, look, there's no better time than all this downtime to make a switch over here and get all the systems in place, take advantage of their tech, start learning everything. So we figured we were gonna have like a year to learn all their systems and all their tech. And then we know what happened. Like the market went nuts. Like I sold my most expensive property like at 20-something million. And I was like, squirrel, like this is bananas. So we switched over to Compass, and then we literally doubled our sales volume every year that we were with Compass.
Unreal. And the thought process behind that, Ivan, is incredible. Again, just looking at it from an opportunity standpoint, and no disrespect to Sotheby's, but everybody has an evolutionary time frame where they say, hey, where's the next goal? Where's the next step? And who are we going to best serve, and who's going to be able to best serve us? It's reciprocal.
Yeah.
And I find that to be a natural evolution into real estate for sure, as everybody knows. Timing is everything. I think your relationship with Mike, what a beautiful ebb and flow story, just, staying in touch and being apart and coming together, with that aspect. I think that's one thing that I would state in addition to is, relationships are everything. This is a relationship business, and the world revolves around people. Everyone says money makes the world go round. I think people makes the world go round. And no one does it alone in that standpoint. So for you guys to find each other and really just hone in on each other's skills, I think is wonderful to say and to state that. I do have to bring it back. I want to take you back to Cape Town. You mentioned it very quickly and then you moved on. So I want to hear the story. So you took a break and you went. What did you go for? What was that? And then what was it like to get you back? I just to take you back there. I really wanted.
Yeah. I mean, so I had a good friend at the time who was a model, and he had worked the South African market a couple of times.
Sure.
And always talked about Cape Town. So he was there at that time, working that market. And, again, I was pretty burnt out, from working 4 projects.
Yeah.
And I just wanted a break. I'd made some good money.
Yeah.
And I had the ability to just take off. I wasn't married, didn't have a girlfriend, had no kids. So like that was the time of opportunity to do something like that.
Wow.
And I figured maybe I could take the rust off of the old modeling shoes and see if I could get some work. And it was funny because the day after I arrived and, super jet lagged, Men's Health magazine out of Cape Town, they brought me in for a shoot, me and 5 guys. And the shoot was literally like, we were rotating in and out of the waves, and the water was like 50 degrees.
Wow.
It's cold. There's like, it's like there's the Atlantic and then there's the Indian. If you're on the Atlantic side, it's really cold. So the shot was waves breaking over our back. And this was like, 50-degree water. So like they had us rotating in and out. That was like my welcome to Cape Town.
Oh boy.
Amazing experience. I didn't end up getting one fitness job other than that while I was there.
Wow.
Didn't care. I was hiking this mountain called Table Mountain. Like again, and I tell everybody, Cape Town is one of the most amazing cities in the world. Like to me, Miami, Cape Town, if you get a chance, go visit Cape Town. It's one of the most dynamic places in the world. Such a melting pot of culture, like Miami. The thing it has over Miami is the topography with all these amazing mountains, wineries, animals. I mean, one day I was petting a cheetah. Next day, I was checking out penguins on a beach, going to a vineyard, watching a polo match, like I said, hiking a mountain, diving with great white sharks. So I had a truly amazing experience. Again, and I had to meet all brand new people, and some of the people I still keep in touch with today, which is really interesting because if I go back to LA, I don't keep in touch with anybody from LA. But too much in Town, and I keep in touch with people from there. So.
I love that story though. And again, not to bring you back to that, but the idea is, takeaway through a conversation for me is, you had an opportunity, and it's never too late to experience and explore. And no matter where you're at in your life, taking those chances and opportunities, I think that ultimately most people, if they're kind of rewinding where they've been and what they've done, the big regrets are what they didn't do, not so much what they actually did. And I think that that's an experience in a journey of your life you'll never forget. And again, it almost refreshed you to kind of get back to what you're doing now. And once again, just kind of poising for the next adventure. So I love that for anybody taking away and thinking that they only have to follow one given path or one given way. Otherwise, they're not going to have success in life. I think that's backwards. And again, everybody has their own journey to take, but just what a great story inside that. So why Compass? So there's so many real estate professionals that are out there. The best and the brightest are always being courted. I think that's important to know, but the best and brightest are always looking for their opportunities. So what was going through your head making that move, Ivan? From your perspective, why did it make sense?
So people who follow me at all will know that will recognize this. How you do anything is how you do everything.
Well said.
It's like an Ivanism, even though I took it from Tony Robbins.
I love it. I love it.
So the way they courted us, to me, I was like, their follow-up, I said, if they follow up with us like this, how are they going to be as a brokerage? Are they really this proactive in how they manage their company? And obviously I was intrigued by Robert Refkin. I think he's a very inspiring person. He's somebody like you want to listen to, even if, let's say, maybe you're somebody you don't necessarily agree with his standpoint. Like, he's a very intriguing, inspiring person, and a really good person. Really intelligent. So, Robert called us and spoke to us. Like Robert was involved in recruiting us. And I was like, I didn't expect that at all.
Yeah.
Wow. 10,000 some odd agents. At the time we were producing, I don't know, I think we were 40 million or something. We weren't like heavy hitters. We were fine. We were doing good business, but it literally spoke volumes to me about how they were as a company. And, Mike and I said, look, if this is a bait and switch and we get in there and it's not like that, we're out. We'll be back at Sotheby's, and nothing will have changed because we're dealing with a pandemic anyway.
Yeah.
And then we got in there and it was exactly how they presented themselves. And they are super proactive. They're not reactive. They're always asking how they can help. And that was just like unknown to me. Like it was like I was no longer having to, constantly ask for help, say, oh, I need this, I need that. Like, this isn't working. Like, it was like, Ivan, have you tried this? Ivan, we have this resource. Ivan, do you want to take this class? Ivan, can I introduce you to this agent? Ivan, do you need any more people on your team? I mean, the vice president of Southeast region or whatever, Florida, he constantly was calling us.
Wow.
The attention that they gave us almost seemed disingenuous. Like, this is like, when is this going to change? Like, this is like, is this a bait and switch? Right.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, there was all this great tech, and that was intriguing to us. The referral network that they very much promote. It was intriguing to us, but those weren't the trigger points. It was really just the experience on how their culture was. And it's like an overused term for them, culture, but it's really different than anything else I've experienced with, and I haven't been at 80 brokerages. I've been at, this is my 4th. So.
Hey, but Ivan, how your feelings come across and your emotional connection to where you're at. And that's the most important thing. Talking about follow-up and how Mike conducted himself and how you've, ebbed and flowed with your follow-up based off of that. The fortune's in the follow-up. Always has been, always will be, in my opinion and perspective. Definitely. But the way that you had described Compass as that opportunity, to me, it's beautiful. And reason being is that emotional connection that you have, the experience, and you take it to the consumer, right? Buyer, seller, any centric nature. It's the emotional connection and the way that you make individuals feel that's really that end product. It's an emotional connection. And I think too many brokerages are out there pushing numbers and timeframes and tech stacks and not really basing it off of, well, how is Ivan going to feel? Like, what is this really going to be like for him and for his family and for his clients? And the fact that you had mentioned that was a real trigger point, it's a testament. It speaks volumes into it. And ultimately making the right decisions for you and, you and Mike together, but then also the team. So let's talk about the team. So what does it look like now? Where are you guys going? I know you've got a lot going on too, Ivan, and I wanted to mention you got a new project coming up in Fort Lauderdale. So let's definitely talk about that. So
sure.
The team itself, where it's going, and then just upcoming projects, things like that. I'm just curious.
Sure. So we're 10. Actually, we just brought on another guy yesterday. So we're 11 agents. We really look to grow organically. We're not out there, trying to get 20, 30 agents and be a massive team. We like being a medium team. We're the #1 medium team in Miami-Dade by volume in 2022. #5 in Florida, number 26 in the country. We have, besides our 11 agents, we have a full-time director of operations, Fernando. We have a full-time COO, Jessica, who came over from Zillow.
Wow.
Gotta get good people. Fernando came from Brown Harris Stevens. We've got a full-time webmaster out of the country, and then we have a couple executive admins. So we've got a pretty sizable team backing us up. And so just a little side note, delegating, as I mentioned before, to anyone out there, as soon as you are able to delegate away all the things that you're not excited about, all the things you're not passionate about, delegate those things away. That will also be a huge shift in your career. It was for me. But we are the #1 pre-construction team in Miami. We love pre-construction. We're like Mike and I, especially, we are so passionate about selling pre-construction. We love painting a picture, and we love learning all of the projects. We call ourselves matchmakers. We're property matchmakers. So we love learning about the client, learning about their lifestyle, and then matching them with a property that suits them perfectly. And Miami has just, it has transformed in so many ways, but also in architecture, also in the ultra luxury real estate space. Now we're getting Robert A.M. Stern, and we have Rem Koolhaas, OMA. We've got all the top architects, Renzo Piano and Zaha Hadid, and it's like going to an art fair. All this amazing architecture. So that's what Mike and I personally specialize in. Even new construction homes we've been delving into a lot. And our brokerage Compass just recruited us to help them sell a luxury pre-construction project in Fort Lauderdale on Las Olas on the river. That's called 6th and Rio. We're super excited to bring the full weight and experience of our team behind that and behind Compass with such a great little project, a great boutique project. So check out 6th and Rio. Reach out to us if you want more information. But that's really where we see ourselves going, more into bringing our team into pre-construction projects, helping developers, and then eventually Mike and I also want to develop ourselves. So we're looking at different parcels. We're looking at doing JV stuff with some of our clients, even because a lot of our clients become our friends just naturally. We really develop deep, warm relationships with our clients that are really long lasting. And again, because integrity is so vital to us, our clients can see that and they trust us. Even our German European clients who say they trust no one, they say they trust us, and they're willing to JV on projects with us. So that's where we see ourselves going, but maybe even growing into other markets. Fort Lauderdale is a secondary market for us, but we want to get a bigger toehold there, and also in Palm Beach, and then from there, who knows?
Unreal, Ivan. And again, just talking about everything, I can really feel the passion into what you do and what you've accomplished and continue to. And when you talk about the architects and luxury real estate and really just going above and beyond that nature, it's such a big deal. And I think that people really need to understand and feel that, unfortunately or fortunately, not everyone is created equal. And there's lots of different options and opportunities for working with real estate professionals. And again, just understanding who you're working with and what the goals are together, but that passion and that emotion that comes through, I'm sure that Mike is just the same to that nature. It seems like you guys are hand in glove sort of scenario, which is a beautiful thing. So Ivan, I need to jump into the second part of this, and I think everybody really appreciates that note. And you've already given beautiful nuggets of information into here and takeaways, but
too many nuggets, maybe.
Yeah, no, never enough, never enough. But as you're going through, everyone tunes in to learn from the best and brightest, and especially into this. So if you could go back and pick or choose one or two things that you added or implemented into your career that you really saw growth, scale, or movement of the needle, what does that look like? What advice would you give the audience who's tuning into this live with us now or after the fact?
Number one, get off the fence. I mentioned that earlier. Get off the fence. If you're doing multiple things, like get focused. Number two, I mentioned it, delegate. Huge shifts for me personally and in my career. And this is something that I had to help massage Mike into. Mike was a little tighter on the spend because he's a little bit more focused on the management stuff. He likes doing that. I don't like doing it. So he sees the numbers more, and I'm impulsive and spontaneous. So I'd be like, "We got to hire somebody. We got to hire somebody. We got to hire somebody. What about this guy? What about this guy?" And eventually, I just wore him down. I just wore him down. So another sales technique, right? Wear him down until he says yes. So we brought on Fernando, who had been a contract coordinator at Sotheby's, then was at Brown Harris Stevens, and we stole him from Brown Harris, and life-changing.
Wow.
He not only is he our contract coordinator, our listing coordinator, he does showings, he organizes moves for our clients. He is really customer care, white glove service. He'll help people move in, move out. I mean, you name it. Like, one of my clients just tipped Fernando $500 because he was so like grateful for what Fernando does.
Wow.
And I was like, that's awesome, man. Like, and you deserve it. And you deserve it tenfold. Like, what he takes off of our plate enables us to spend more time on the things that we enjoy and the things that we're passionate about, and allows us to stay focused on our clients and on closing deals. So without that, we definitely wouldn't be at 276 million. So.
Wow. And Ivan, as you're mentioning those takeaways, it's massive. I mean, really staying focused or projecting the focus, getting off the fence and going all in, as you mentioned, through your life. You're a true practitioner in this. You're not just saying it because it sounds good. You're saying it because you've lived it and you've experienced the differences. And that's what's really important about that. In addition to is to leverage or to bring people on into the fold. I think it's that old adage, and I might butcher it, but you can go fast alone, but far together. And I think that's the mentality that you're mentioning is articulating, understanding what your strengths are, where your passions lie, and everything else that isn't those things that move the needle, bring somebody or something on. And it brings up that topic of so many incredible titans, yourself included. They're not necessarily looking for the what or the how, but it's more so the who, the person. And so many people just miss it. They miss it. And I get it from Mike's perspective. I understand that thought process. Hey, you got to look at the bottom line, and there's top line, there's bottom line revenue, and all those things. But ultimately, bringing on the right person is going to pay for themselves again and again and again. And that's kind of
the first hire is the hardest hire. Sorry to
no. Yeah, please.
The first hire, it's the hardest. It's the hardest, and I know it's hard for everybody out there. If you're just kind of making ends meet and you're early in your career, maybe you're late in your career, but you're trying to move to the next level. Sometimes you got to take a step back to take 10 steps forward. And financial stuff is scary, but I would implore you to jump in there and make that first hire. And you also reminded me of another Tonyism, which is proximity is power.
Oh,
so be careful of who you surround yourself with. and that goes to family, that goes to everybody. I mean, like people would say, oh, you guys are like a family. And I'm like, yeah, our team is like a family, but we're better because we're actually chosen. We've hand selected every one of these people, because we're so guarded about the people that we bring into our space.
Sure.
No drama, none of the bull crap. You got stuff going on, like you keep that out here. Don't bring it into our sphere. We're really protective over that. And we also tell people, when we bring them onto our team, if by the time your journey with us ends, if you don't leave as a better human being, then we've failed. So what's more important to us is that not that somebody makes a whole lot of money for us or makes a whole lot of money for them. We don't know what their goals are, but just that they become a better human being. Because Mike and I are in it to become better human beings and to convey that experience, to convey a rich and an enriching experience to people we work with and the clients we work with. So that's kind of like our unsaid motto.
I love the motto. I love it. You're mentioning proximity and good and bad into that. And I think, always auditing your environment, the people that are around you, and it equates to the books that you read, the movies you watch, the podcasts you listen to, just any level of consumption that's going on, positive or negative, has an impact. And I think that is a heavy emphasis onto success in so many different aspects of life, not just business. Yeah. But Ivan, everything you're saying is just true to word, that's out there that people can really apply. Is there anything that you want to wrap this episode up with? I know we're judging here on time, so I just have to be sensitive to that. I know you got a lot going on.
So Zoom presentation yes, of the Waldorf Astoria, another amazing new construction project in South Florida. No, when you were talking about auditing, you reminded me also, you can't manage what you don't measure. So that's a recent takeaway for Mike and I when we attended Business Mastery. Is you got to know your numbers. Know your numbers of everything. Know where you are. If you don't know where you are, then you can't go. You can't grow from there. You can't just freaking jump on the sailboat without your GPS coordinates and just go, because you don't know where you're going to end up. So you got to measure everything, and then you can manage it. So there's lots of things for people to look at, but also probably the difference from where you want to be from where you are is about 2 millimeters. So I also wouldn't want people who are listening to me today to go, holy fuck, I got to do this. I got to start doing this. I got proximity. I got to hire people. 2 millimeters. Choose one thing that you're going to change, one thing that you're going to implement. Small 2 millimeters will have a huge compound effect. And then you can figure out how you grow from there. And it's not linear, as we've discussed, early on. There's many different paths. For me, it was new construction. For the people that we bring on our team, it's joining a team. It seems to be something that's really popular today. So I would say, if you're looking to get going in this industry, find a team and then jump in. The 3 keys to mastery are repetition, immersion, and modeling. So you got to find somebody, a role model. You got to immerse yourself, and you got to repeat. Follow up.
Wow. Ivan,
that's it. That's enough.
You are a true pro, my friend. Actually, I have to say this. You are dubbed an official real estate titan, my friend. So that is a badge of honor you carry forever. No one can take that away. There's no trophies. There's no plaques.
I love it. It makes me want to flex.
That's titan. Right. True real estate titan. That's the thumbnail right there, Ivan. Hey, I truly cannot thank you enough. Incredible episode. Beautiful takeaways. I just truly appreciate all your time today, Ivan.
No, thank you, man. This was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for bringing the energy. I really loved our conversation here. Enjoyed talking to you and get to know you as well. And thanks again so much for the opportunity.
Ivan, pleasure and honor all mine. Truly, truly, truly. I mean that. And everybody out there, I mean to you, thank you so much for your time and attention, your love and support. If you like here at Doing Real Estate Titans, don't forget to like and subscribe. You do know what to do at this point. I have to give our sponsor a quick shout out, Limebolt Media. If you are a real estate professional looking to grow and scale your business with leading edge digital marketing, visit lionboltmedia.com for more information. We're live here every Tuesday afternoon, a different Titan, a different location. Catch everybody on the next live episode of Real Estate Titans. Take care. Thanks, Ivan.
Thanks, man.